We finished talking about ointments in the previous videos, and in this video, we're going to talk about creams. So, what are creams? Creams are semi-solid preparations containing one or more active constituents dispersed either in a water in oil or oil in water emulsion. And that is why we often call creams semi-solid emulsions. Any basic cream is formed when an alkali neutralizes a quarter of the quantity of fatty acid to form a small amount of soap as well as our cream. The formation of soap here isn't a mistake. We need the soap in order to stabilize the emulsion by acting as an emulsifying agent, since, as we know, fat hates water. And as such, we can say that creams are self-emulsifiers since they form their own emulsifying agent without the need to add any external emulsifying agent. The alkali is dissolved in the aqueous portion of the emulsion and the fatty acid in the oily portion of the emulsion. So why did we say that all of the alkali neutralizes only a quarter of the amount of fatty acid? What happens if all of the alkali were to neutralize all of the fatty acid? Well, if that were to happen, then we would obtain only soap instead of a cream, and our aim is to obtain a cream. So we found with research that only 25% of the fatty acid is neutralized by all of the alkali to form the cream that we want, and also to benefit from the emulsifying power of the soap formed. There are two types of creams, cold creams and vanishing creams. Let's begin with cold creams. They are water in oil emulsions, and since the external phase is oily in nature, we can say that cold creams have a high oil content, and hence they are thick, greasy, and shiny. And if we were to use them, it would be best to use them at night or for makeup removal. Cold creams are the best choice for dry and dehydrated skin, as the dehydrated stratum corneum is softened by the water in the emulsion, and the oily portion of the emulsion forms a fatty film on the skin, blocking the evaporation of the water content and therefore acting as an occluding agent. When we come to talk about vanishing creams, they are the opposite. They are oil in water emulsions, and since the external phase is aqueous, vanishing creams have a high water content, and hence they are thin, non-greasy, and have a matte texture, and they are best used during the day under makeup. They are soft and easily spread on the skin, and from its name, when we apply vanishing creams to our skin, they appear to vanish, hence the name. Okay, we're going to talk more about the composition of vanishing creams. As we have already established, vanishing creams are emulsions, and hence they are composed of an alkali and a fatty acid. The fatty acid in this case is stearic acid, of which only 25% is neutralized by the alkali, and the rest acts as the oily phase of the emulsion. In terms of the source of alkali we can use, we have three options: sodium hydroxide, potassium hydroxide, and triethanolamine. And depending on the type of alkali we choose, we can control how the texture of our cream will turn out. If we choose to use sodium hydroxide, we will form a stiff cream. If we add potassium hydroxide, we will form a very smooth cream. And if we add triethanolamine, we will obtain an intermediate texture. And as a pharmacist, we prefer to use triethanolamine because sodium hydroxide and potassium hydroxide, so our hydroxides, cause irritation to the skin and they have a corrosive effect, whereas triethanolamine does not have these adverse effects. If we wanted to compare between hydroxides and carbonates and to choose which one is better, then the answer is hydroxides. Why? Because carbonates are a source of carbon dioxide, and this will cause two main problems. First, the formation of air bubbles and froth on the surface of our cream. And second, the base sinks to the bottom of the container, both of which are unfavorable. How can we improve the physical properties of our Vanishing cream? Well, there are certain components that we can add, like cetyl alcohol, borax, and glycerin or sorbitol. Cetyl alcohol improves stability and gives fine and smooth consistency to our cream. Borax gives the pearl-like appearance, and glycerin and sorbitol are used as humectants. They prevent the drying out of both the cream and of the consumer or patient's skin by preserving the water content of the stratum corneum and by preserving the water content of the cream. Glycerin and sorbitol also improve spreading properties of the cream and preserve the cream's consistency. This is a summary of the two creams. The most important points I want you to take from this video is that cold creams are water and oil emulsions. Therefore, they have a high oil content and they are most suitable and the best choice for patients or consumers with dry and dehydrated skin. Whereas Vanishing creams are oil and water emulsions. They vanish upon application to the skin. They have high water content and they have a high content of humectants, and they are matte. And of course, we use them during the day and all of the other similarities and differences we talked about them. And that will be all for this video.